The night before the fight, I dreamed I hit him with a left hook. He died in the ring. These weren't the lines of a screenwriter or novelist. These were the chilling words of Sugar Ray Robinson, widely recognized as the greatest pound-for-pound boxer in history. That wasn't just a metaphor. It was a prophecy fulfilled. On June 24, 1947, in a fight against Jimmy Doyle, Robinson delivered a punch that changed his life and ended another. What began as a routine defense of his welterweight title became a haunting legacy. Despite a priest's reassurance that his dream was nothing more than imagination, Robinson's premonition came true. Doyle never got up. Robinson wept. He questioned his career. He questioned himself. Because this isn't just the story of a fighter. It's the story of a man who was praised for his power and punished by it. Welcome to the dark truth about Sugar Ray Robinson. From Walker Smith Jr. to the Sugar Ray we know,
with him, I dreamed in my sleep that I knocked him out and he died in the ring. And I got up that morning and I told the commission that I wasn't going to fight. And they said, why? And I told them what I had dreamed. It's already known.
Sugar Ray Robinson was originally known as Walker Smith Jr., and he was born in Ailey, Georgia, on May 3, 1921, while racial segregation and hardship were common in the region. His parents, Walker Smith Sr. and Lelia Hurst, struggled as sharecroppers to get by in the South of the Jim Crow era. They decided to move to Detroit in order to find better work and opportunities, though they just found more hardship. His dad worked very hard as a cement mixer, and his mom had to take on domestic jobs to help bring in money. As his parents got divorced, Walker and his mother went to live in Harlem at a time when there was so much jazz, culture, and confusion. That was the place where boxing caught his interest for the first time. He first trained at the Salem Crescent Athletic Club. As he was not yet eligible for official events, he got an amateur athletic union card from a friend. Ray Robinson was the person who owned the card. The reporter next described the young fighter's boxing as sweet as sugar. The nickname became popular, and an amazing story was created. Even though his life on screen looked lavish, Elvis was formed by tough experiences in his early days. The sweetest style in the game
made him a formidable opponent. Robinson's hand speed and footwork were unparalleled. He could throw rapid combinations with precision and power, often leaving his opponents bewildered. He had an innate...
In 1940, Sugar Ray made his professional debut, and by 1949, he was commonly recognized as a top-notch boxer. He used flashy moves, dead-on kicks, strong defense, and destructive punches. He won the most fights with only 19 losses, which were mostly suffered late during his career. Ray Robinson became world welterweight champion in 1946 when he won against Tommy Bell, and later went on to win the middleweight crown 5 times. Joe Louis was the first boxer ever to claim titles at 5 different weight divisions. His competitions were works of art, just like chess games, but with physical clashes. He finished Jake LaMotta with a thrashing 13-round TKO in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre of 1951, which got under LaMotta's skin so much that he said, "I fought Sugar Ray so many times, I must be immune to diabetes." Robinson won against Gene Fullmer, Randy Turpin, Carmen Basilio, and Henry Armstrong, all of whom were legends. There was no question that he was an immensely talented person. Even so, prominence came with increased stress. When Millie is in the spotlight, some of her flaws become noticeable. The Nightmare and Jimmy Doyle.
Great fighter, but I didn't expect that kind of punch. It was perfect. It was the best punch I ever took. Sugar Ray Robinson's professional career was a blend of brilliance and tragedy, marked by some of the most memorable fights.
Exactly 1 year after Jimmy Doyle's record-breaking run, Sugar Ray Robinson and Jimmy Doyle squared off on June 24, 1947, at Cleveland Arena. The original plan was to defend the welterweight title one more time. Fighting was never Robinson's choice. He dreamt about something the night before, and it was so intense it shook him. He imagined that Doyle was knocked out by a single left punch. He stated to the Ohio State Athletic Commission that he wished to cancel the fight. A Catholic priest and a minister came to see him and told him, "Your nightmare will soon be over." Convinced by the comments, or forced, Richard Robinson proceeded with the game. It was in round 8 that things started to get very serious. A left hook caused Doyle to lose consciousness. He left the ring on a stretcher, and he never opened his eyes again. He suffered a brain injury and died not long after it happened. Things took an awful toll on Robinson. He took care of the burial costs and in time sent funds to Lydia Doyle's family. Emotionally, he was never completely well after the incident. There could never be a title that could match what was lost. The glamour, the guilt, and the abuse. As well as being a great fighter, Sugar Ray was also the first boxer whose name became famous outside the ring. Louis was seen driving pink Cadillacs, dressed in customized suits, running the Harlem nightclub the Cotton Club, and having large groups of people with him all the time. Was emotionally unstable. Early in his life, he married dancer Edna Mae Holley, and the marriage was full of conflicts and violence. Later interviews with Edna Mae showed that after coming home from racing, Robinson would assault his wife. She always thought about how to avoid him and his tough moods. It was said that Jackson had a loving personality, as well as an aggressively dangerous one. The frequent and heavy drinking over the years made TikTok's behavior less predictable, which put strain on both family members and co-workers. Also, his finances started to collapse. With millions earned over the course of his career, lavish expenses, a large team, and failing in business ventures left him with very little money. He became an example of what can go wrong when fame is unstable. Do you know that Sugar Ray Robinson fought across 4 decades, the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, and briefly in 1965, giving him one of the longest elite-level careers in boxing history? He retired with a professional record of 174 wins, 109 knockouts, and only 19 losses, an astonishing achievement by any measure. He inspired generations of fighters, most notably Muhammad Ali, who called Robinson his idol. Ali said, "Sugar Ray was the king, the master, my idol. I copied everything he did." Robinson also holds the rare feat of having fought Jake LaMotta 6 times, with their rivalry becoming legendary. Despite all his success, he also holds another rare distinction. He's one of the few all-time greats to have publicly expressed regret over taking another man's life in the ring. It wasn't just a sport for him, it was life and loss. His greatness wasn't just in how he fought, but in what he carried. The last rounds, decline and death.
They resorted to bringing in a Catholic priest to convince him that the dream had been nothing more than just that, and eventually, Robinson agreed to go ahead with the fight. On the night, Doyle proved to be game and fought his heart out against the champion, but he was clearly overmatched. And then in the 8th, when Doyle launched an attack with a right hand, Robinson deftly avoided the blow, countering with a powerful left hook to Doyle's chin. Doyle toppled back, banging his head on the canvas. The referee began the count, but with Doyle unconscious on the ground, he stopped before he reached 10. Doyle was rushed to the hospital, but
Robinson began to experience sharp declines in his health as he got older. He had diabetes, and then was also diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. The person whose mind was always ahead in the ring, now unable to recall faces. Through his final years, his 3rd wife, Millie Wiggins Bruce, cared for him closely. The performative part of his character was gone. He was now a person whose age, sickness, and lack of memory told his story. On April 12, 1989, he died at age 67 because of complications caused by Alzheimer's and diabetes. There was only quiet at the close of his busy life. In spite of his problems with addiction, abuse, and financial difficulties, his role as an innovator in boxing is still intact. 30 days after his passing, in 1990, Robinson was recognized as an early member in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. The time she awarded was given long after it was deserved. It wasn't only because Sugar Ray was the top fighter of his time. Other boxers are still judged against his achievements. Sugar Ray Robinson was lightning in human form, a poet with gloves, a genius with demons. His life was a contradiction, brilliant and brutal, graceful and grim. He didn't just shape boxing, he shaped what it meant to be a sports icon. But his story also reveals the darkness fame can hide: addiction, violence, trauma, regret. If this story helped you see the legend behind the lens, the full man, not just the myth, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real, raw stories from boxing's most unforgettable souls. And drop a comment. Should greatness be judged by what you achieve or what you survive? Until next time.